All right. We're gonna
The
review.
Truman Show.
You go for it, John. You started out, bro.
Oh,
Any,
what did I just do?
anything. You can talk about anything.
Well, let's see. I liked the movie. My family has seen the movie before. My brothers and my parents, they've all seen the movie. I was the last person in my family to see it. So I didn't know a whole bunch going in. I knew the basic premise, but I just knew, oh, John, this is a really good movie. You gotta see it. You gotta check it out. And I gotta say, I wasn't disappointed. I did like the movie.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Like this is my second time watching it. The first time I kind of like I kind of like left halfway through because I was like because it kind of felt kind of boring, especially in the beginning when it's just going over like the daily life of like just a normal guy. And I didn't really like, especially the first time watching it, I was a lot younger, so I didn't really catch on to like the big idea that he's being recorded and like this is all fake. And I mean, his life is real, but everybody else is like a paid actor. So I think just in general, I think like one of the big takeaways for me, especially nowadays, like with social media and everything, is like what's the line between like entertainment and privacy? And I feel like this can, especially like nowadays with like social media and everything like that, like what is the line between those two?
Definitely think they crossed the line.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of line.
all right. Good point. Good point. Does anyone know what the archetype is for this week?
I can check real quick. I think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What's the date? 14.
14.
Quest archetype.
Parent. Oh, it's Quest. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
The quest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the Truman Show is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it was a quest though because he was trying to like figure out what was really going on because I think like halfway towards the movie he started realizing, and I think like I really liked how the film sets it up. Like you kind of feel like you're Truman a little bit
Yeah.
because I didn't realize anything was going on until halfway through the movie, like right around the same time Truman was. So it wasn't like you had any insider information or anything. I mean, you kind of felt like you were living his life.
Same. I really liked all the first person views, like all the cameras that were turning with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got the first in look that like someone was watching him when like his dad showed up and then like the people like took him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like think it was amazing. I thought the concept was really cool, but I think they relied on that a lot sometimes. But yeah, I think like in terms of the quest, it's definitely like you said, Neal, like it's his personal quest to like. Well, I guess he doesn't really figure it out until like halfway into the movie, like you said. But after that point, it's his quest. So, and then
It's very much an internal journey.
Yeah, that's true. Like figuring it out, and then at the end, I guess like he fulfills the quest, but at the same time, like he's like the who was the guy that created the show?
Christopher.
Yeah.
Christoph. Yeah,
Was it
Christoph. Like Christoph said, like he's going out into a world that's like he doesn't really know the dangers of and stuff. So he's gonna have like another quest of sorts once he gets out of the Truman Show.
Have you guys read 1984?
Yes.
It's been a long time
ago.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but it kind of felt like, Big Brother's always watching. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I just remember like there was a ton of like social moral commentary in the film, and I just like it really was like in like what Christoph said, like it's like more dangerous on the outside, like you don't know what you're getting into. That really kind of makes you like reflect on like because you look at Truman, you're like, oh, that must be terrible, but then you think about it, it's like, well,
everything's kind of like scripted, so like, yeah,
very gilded cage, as they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could think of it as like he's locked in like this physical place, but like for a lot of things, like we don't want certain things to be true, or we're more comfortable with like accepting the reality of certain things, and we don't want to go outside of that box, like not a physical box, but like a mental box. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, I get that. Kind of just like a
Yeah.
comfort zone. Like,
Yeah. Um. So did you all like the resolution? Did you all think it was effective, or did you think it was kind of just like the resolution that the plot needed?
Oh, I thought the ending was great. I really, really liked how most movies can't get away with it, but Truman exits the door and the movie's just done. There's no epilogue or anything like that, which I really liked because that reinforces the concept that he's finally, for the first time in his life, he's not being watched anymore. The movie ends because we're not seeing him anymore, because in universe they're not seeing him anymore. I
right.
thought that was really clever.
So I didn't really like the ending, but now that you said that, like it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense
I
because
didn't think about that.
yeah,
I was like the same way kind of. I was like, if they did continue this, like as much as I would have liked it, I don't think it would have been like a good movie anymore. I don't think it would have been effective. I think that the only way to like really is like to create another movie. I don't think that there could have been any other ending that would have been effective.
mhm. I kind of wanted to see what would happen with him and that girl, but
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
Guess you just have to assume some stuff.
Yeah.
right.
So like
Hopefully
in
he goes
terms
to
of,
Fiji.
what do you say, Matt?
I said hopefully he goes to Fiji.
Yeah.
He goes all the way to Fiji and realizes she's not in Fiji. But, um, so like in terms of the last movie, Children of Men, which I really liked,
Mhm.
everyone in class like complained that they didn't set up how this whole world happened and stuff.
Right.
But I think, and I didn't care about it for that movie. I didn't think it was necessary, but for this movie, I feel like it was necessary, and they did a really good job of like telling you everything that happened for him to get in this situation, like from when he was a baby and stuff.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I kind of wish that they had done it a little bit sooner. I just feel like it would have. I think that they didn't really hook the audience too well in the beginning. I feel like it was just like, wow, this is like just a boring documentary of like an average guy and like a seaside town in America.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wish they really had hooked us. But
So
other than that,
you went in like completely blind, like you had no idea what this movie was.
yeah.
Oh shit. Nice.
They did give like glimpses though, because like when they did like the outside like view that you could see literally it's just like the water in the town and that you could see nothing else.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it kind of like a foreshadowing of like you don't know what's going on, but something's not right. So like I think so, but I do agree. I wish it was a little earlier. It would have made more sense.
I read that in the original script that he's in a reality TV show was supposed to be like a third act plot twist. So maybe that's why it's not as spelled out as it could be, just remnants from the original script.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that. I just thought he was in like a closed off part of the world, like an actual island. I didn't know he was in like a literally constructed set until they
Yeah,
showed.
I didn't realize that either.
Right.
I thought they were
Yeah.
just like, let's stick him on this island and tell him he can never leave. But like, yeah.
I really didn't think they'd let him leave either. You know, I kind of thought
No,
like
I think they made it so hard to leave too. That was like they made it practically impossible for him to leave. So
right.
Yeah. Why do you think Kristoff was willing to like almost kill him just so he couldn't leave?
ego probably. I think just like it was. I think it was mostly an ego thing. I think it was
Yeah.
just like just one of those things.
I took it to mean like he became a complete control freak who micromanages anything. So now that something was going off script, he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't seem to outright hate Truman. Like he does seem to legitimately like Truman in his just a very own his own twisted way. So when Truman's going off script, he can't really function.
Yeah.
Is how I kind of interpreted the scene.
So
I feel like we. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
no. Go ahead, Neil.
Okay, I feel like we keep bringing up like the word script, and I feel like maybe that has something to do with just like how maybe that's a calling about like human nature. Like we want things to be scripted, because I feel like that was a big thing. I mean, even though it was like supposed to be like the unscripted TV show,
Yeah.
it still felt scripted and a lot. It was still scripted in a lot of ways. So I think
Yeah.
it's something about how we want organization.
I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know how he never like caught on to anything before because they were so sus about like everything. Like
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
life was so boring. Like
Well, true, but remember, he was born and raised in this place, so all the sus
Yeah, but
stuff was normal to
why
him.
why raise him in that place and teach him about any other place in the first place? Just tell him this is the only place in the world. Like don't tell him about Fiji. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
yeah, it does. That does make sense. That
Yeah.
is one of those things.
also like do all these what if he wakes up in the middle of the night and decides to go for a drive, bro? Like he never did that in his life. Like I don't know.
Well, he's monitored 24/7. Wouldn't they know that if he tried that?
I guess, bro. Yeah, I guess so. So
And it
we
was just. Oh, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm trying to move the conversation like forward, like use different terms and stuff. But
Yeah.
so we definitely think Kristoff is like the antagonist, the main
Yeah.
antagonist.
Do you guys think Kristoff had like a god complex?
Oh, definitely.
Mhm. Especially when he was like talking to him from the sky. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like he did have a god complex.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that ending was pretty religious, wasn't it?
It was.
Mm.
Yeah,
You guys think that has any messages in there? Why do you think that had such heavy evocation? Why do you think that had such heavy religious imagery? Because up until that point, the film was not very religious. What do you think?
You just mean like the boat and stuff? Like
Yeah, like he's the camera angle is made to look like he's literally walking on water. He's climbing up these
oh,
steps into the sky.
that's a,
Kristoff is talking to him and says, "I am the creator."
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
think
saying,
like
like, I think this story is like an allegory for something.
it kind of like showed like what like godlike power is. You control like every aspect of someone's life. It also brings about the question like, if there is a god, does he just like did he like set everything up and like let people have free will, or does he manipulate everything so that like you think you have free will, but like in reality like everything's just kind of scripted?
Oh, that's a really good point.
I don't know. I just don't think I walked away from this movie like feeling any type of way about like any strong way about like what the commentary was. Like it didn't make me like question my own reality or anything. Maybe that's the point, but I don't know.
That's what all my friends said, and I was like, yeah, I can see it, but like, it didn't leave me like asking that question.
Mhm.
Maybe we are in a simulation.
Who we are.
Who knows, man?
Isn't that like an actual thing now because of this movie? Isn't there like a thing called like the Truman syndrome?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I like googled that. It's kind of
Maybe you're all really good actors right now. What other terms we got? Someone mentioned foreshadowing, the allusions to religious stuff.
Mhm.
Do we think the quest archetype like fits this the best, or like something else?
I'd say Quest fits in pretty well. Although it's
Yeah.
not so much an adventure so much as it is a character-driven quest.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably what it fits the best.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some other ones and I'm not really sure.
Also, in terms of like character arc, I didn't think like Truman actually had a great character arc. I think it was more like the plot like dictated his character arc because it's like what he was realizing because of the plot.
Right. Like he as a person never really changed. He just like started to see what they're actually doing.
Yeah, because like I don't think he really ever once he figured out it might not be his reality, he
Right.
automatically was like, I don't want to be in this anymore if it's not like, he was never like, I might just accept this as my reality.
Mhm.
But anyone else have any thoughts on that?
It reminded me of something. It's a bit off topic, but since no one else has anything to say, have you ever watched the old Batman cartoons, the Batman Adventures or whatever?
Mm-mm.
There's an episode where Batman wakes up and he's not Batman. He's Bruce Wayne. Somebody else is Batman. His parents are still alive. Everything's great in his life. Like it's everything Bruce Wayne could want out of his life. But even though
Yeah.
he's happy, and even though everything is great, he decides this isn't real. I got to break out of the simulation because this isn't right. And kind of going off what Henry said, there is a scene where at the end where he's like, he seriously has to consider, well, actually, do I want to escape? This is pretty cool here.
Mm.
Yeah,
What's the right thing to do?
that's a good comparison there. I noticed a thread throughout the film. I don't know if anybody else picked up on it. It was like every time something bad would happen, I think his best friend's name was like I couldn't remember. Was it Marlon?
Yeah.
The guy that would come in with a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
Every time something bad would happen, his friend would come over with like a 6-pack of beer. Like every time, it was just like on the dot. As soon as he was about to like realize something, his friend would distract him and be like, and just completely lie to him and make it
Now,
seem like
that's a beer.
yeah.
I love the product placement jokes in this movie. Those are great.
Oh yeah. I wish I had picked up on that earlier. I caught it towards the end when they said that that's how they make money, but I wish I had picked up on it earlier.
Speaking of product placements, I noticed this. This is another thing I found interesting. So the film definitely has like a very 1950s, 1960s, 1970s aesthetic with attire, cars, and equipment.
Mhm.
And then you remember Christoph, a very old man. He says, "I hate the world. The outside world is ugly and sick." So I kind of got the impression that he's kind of nostalgic for the world that he was in, and he doesn't like the modern world. So Sea Haven is kind of his ideal world, and he's pushing his ideals onto Truman.
And I think by pushing and like going off what you said, John, I feel like by pushing his ideals onto Truman about like this is the way the world should be, he's pushing it onto like the billions and billions of people that watch the Truman Show.
Yeah.
So
Maybe he's the one that like wants to stay in that reality and like Truman
Yeah.
is not the real subject.
I think it goes into the God complex like Kwame brought up. I think that like goes right into that.
Mhm.
Well, does everyone want to like give their rating or whatever of the movie?
yeah, sure. I'll go first. I'll say it was like a 7 out of 10, just because I really like the last bit of the movie, but I didn't find it like hooking enough. Like if it wasn't for a class, I probably would have turned it off.
Yeah.
So
But it's still a 7.
it's still a 7 because I'm glad I didn't. But it
Yeah,
was.
I got
I just wish it would have been a 10 out of 10 if they had gotten a good hook in there and kept me
Gotcha.
in the beginning.
What about you, John?
I'd give it a thumbs up. I guess maybe an 8 or a 9. Because I'm trying to think, there weren't really a whole lot of things that I'd do differently if I were in charge.
Yeah.
Because I could make it more obvious at the beginning that it's a TV show, but if I were in charge, I'd probably worry about. I don't want to hammer it in and make it too unsubtle to the point where it's like, how has he not figured it out yet?
Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting because you and Neal had like a very different viewing experience because you kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I
feel
already
like
knew the movie ahead of time.
Yeah, you knew about it ahead of time and Neal was more like blind to it. But Kwame, what do you think?
I'd give it maybe a 6.5 or a 7.
6.5.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 6 as well. 6 out of 10.
I was gonna
Yeah.
give it a 6.
Well, these are all a lot lower than I was expecting.
See,
I
bro,
didn't
this
think
is
it was that good.
this is why I spoke so much about Children of Men, bro, in class, because I thought it was great, and everyone else was shitting on it. Bro. How
I'm
I
glad
felt.
you stood up for your beliefs. That's admirable.
Okay, so you need to do that today, John. You need to do that in
Huh.
class if people don't like it, bro. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I just didn't think it was like that
Yeah.
Mate,
effective
right.
as a social commentary or whatever. I mean,
If I watched it again, I might like it better, but like first view, like I thought it was like an effective movie, but like it just didn't really leave like, wow,
Yeah.
that was a great movie. It was
I
just
think
like,
for me it was mostly just a cool concept.
yeah, definitely.
It was an interesting concept for sure. But
Mm.
all right. I guess we're good. Guess I'll stop her.
See y'all in
All right,
class.
see you.